Hey folks, welcome back to our Dice Tower preview. I'm Mark, and today we're taking a look at Sea of Legends. Sea of Legends is brought to you by Guildhall Studios. It's for 1 to 4 players, ages 14 and up, and games range anywhere from 90 to 120 minutes. Sea of Legends is a narrative-driven, open-world sandbox-style game. Swashbuckle and swindle your way to victory as one of 4 unique captains, raid ports, buy treasure, fall in love, and defeat your nemesis as you compete to become the most legendary pirate on the open seas. Your decisions will make waves through the Caribbean as each player takes part in shared adventures woven together by a companion app. But choose wisely. In Sea of Legends, the fickle winds of fate can fill your sails or turn against you at any moment. Navigate the shifting tides as you pursue multiple paths to victory and forge your own tale. Play as a brazen cutthroat, a rogue with a heart of gold, or fall anywhere in between as you navigate the shifting tides of the Caribbean. The world is your oyster, but what kind of captain are you? The game is played in a series of rounds divided into turns. Each round and each player will take their turn. Then one player will control the NPCs on their turn. You will continue playing until one player has gained 10 notoriety. So, will you answer the call to adventure? The sea awaits. Now to kick things off, we're gonna do a roll-off, deciding who will pick their captain first. You'll take the blue dice and roll it, and whoever has the highest value is going to choose their captain. Now, each of the players will then be dealt 3 cards, and these cards are going to be your lover and your nemesis. You'll choose 2 of them and discard the other. Now, the thing with these cards is that they're dual-sided. So you will choose which one will be your lover and which one will be your nemesis. And this will add to your story elements in the game greatly. You're also going to set that up in the app. So the app also allows you to scan cards as well as choose a card to place into your character slot. And so these cards you'll place next to your captain. And the thing is you're going to be building out a tableau. You're also going to get 3 standard crew and a standard ship. And this is kind of the starting base. You also have corresponding colored tokens for when you take over a place on the board, as well as tokens to track your story elements on the board. Again, you have your captain story, you have your nemesis story, and your lover story. And looking at these cards a little bit closer, you'll see that both your nemesis and your lover have leveling capabilities. So as certain things happen and evolve in the game, and I'm not going to spoil too many things here, but as you choose story elements and different elements of those stories come up, you may level up either one of these characters, or cards might be drawn that allow you to level characters as well. So it's really an interesting element to the game because it can really be a detriment if your nemesis is leveled up, or if your lover's leveled up, you get a lot of benefits here. So there's definitely some choices to be made as you begin the game and choose which of those stories to follow. And it's important to note that at the beginning of the game, you're going to have 7 gold to start with. And then you'll take your captain's token. You're going to be placing it in the compass area at the bottom of the board. Also, you'll be placing a token showing which of the captains will be controlling the NPCs first. So, in this particular example, the NPCs that we'll be using for this video are the Undead and the Merfolk. Now, these particular NPCs have very different goals in mind. However, their end goal is really to bring their boss level creature into the world to wreak havoc on everything. But you as the players, you really want to somewhat work together in order to stop these NPCs from reaching their ultimate goal. Now, the Undead, really, they're going to be trying to group up. So they're going to be moving ever closer to each other, trying to summon their giant skeletal colossus. Now, this creature is particularly bad, and you know what? Maybe as the player, you have an ulterior motive and a reason to let this happen. but it really is in your best interest to try to stop these creatures because they can win the game instead of the players. So keep that in mind. Now, the merfolk are a little bit different. They're going to be trying to reach the corners of the map, trying to gain a relic and make it back to Tortuga so they can summon their boss level champion, also primed and ready to destroy the world. Again, these NPCs are trying to win. They're trying to beat all the players. So really, it is in your best interest to at least sometimes work together. Now there's also Spanish galleons, and they're patrolling these waters. And the interesting thing is that you can use Spanish galleons, you can use the undead, you can use merfolk all kind of against each other, as well as perhaps against your fellow players. So those are things to keep in mind, and you have the ability to take over a territory. If you do, Spanish galleons are going to be trying to move in there and stop you and remove your control. So again, there's some balancing here between you, the players, and all the NPCs. So this is a big sandbox game, and you have a lot of choices on your turn. One of the big things you're looking at is your ship card. You show across the middle of the card some icons. On the far left, you have your cannons. The standard ship has 0, but your movement is in the middle at 2. So you can move and perform actions or do actions and move and so forth. And depending on who's in your location and who you run across, it may force you to engage in battle earlier than later, and that would be your action. But the other actions are going to be pursuing your story arcs. You're going to be moving to a location and performing that through the app. And I'm not going to spoil a lot of the story because that is some of the awesome flavor of this game. It adds so much, but it's not just a story. There's challenges and things that happen that allow you to even upgrade your characters. And especially your lever can really add a lot to your character for doing battles and things in the future. So, and of course, likewise, the nemesis is going to downplay the things you can do. And the neat thing about all that story arc is that it may involve the other players at the table. Their nemesis and their levers may involve with your particular story and things. And it really does intertwine in a really neat way. So that's a big part of the game for sure. But there are basic things across the map. I mean, you're going to be visiting locations. You're going to be going to a tavern. You're going to be basically, gambling and cheating and things like that. You'll be flipping a card, doing whatever it says, looking at the rumor. And the rumor may lead you to an item, which when it does, you'll flip the card and that's the item you have. And some are consumables that you'll use and things of that nature. But it really adds a lot. And you'll be adding those to your tableau in order to give you more, potentially anyway, more dice to roll on your turn. Now, the other things you're going to be doing is visiting shipyards. So you can upgrade that ship because you do want bigger, better ships. So you can get more crew, you can have cannons, more movement, things like that. And it does get expensive as you level up from a level 1, 2, 3, and so forth. So those are things to keep in mind. And you also are going to be going to your hideout. And what's neat about the hideout is that you can heal up basically here and untap crew that have been used. So it also allows you the ability to bury gold here, which gives you notoriety. I think it's 7 gold will give you notoriety in the game if you bury it here. So it's another way to get points towards your ultimate goal of 10. So throughout the game, you have lots of choices. And not only that, but you can actually attack a port and take it over. And if you do, you'll put one of your tokens there, which will give you resources every turn. But look out for the Spanish galleons because they're going to be gunning for you if you do that. So as you can see, there's lots of different paths that you can go in this game. And not only that, but you engage and attack the NPCs and you can attack your fellow players, getting gold and resources and things, and really going after each other. You are pirates after all. And one of the other neat things, thematic for sure, is that if you get tired of a crew member not pulling his weight, you can make him walk the plank so you can get more and better crew. And in order to get that better crew, you'll need to show up at a location that has a hiring hall. And you'll draw 3 cards from that crew deck. And as long as you can afford it, you can just hire all 3 of those if you choose, as long as you also have space in your ship to do so. But remember, you can make your crew walk the plank to make room for better crew. So you'll be rolling a lot of dice in this game. So depending on what you're doing, either it's a challenge or perhaps you're attacking an NPC or one of your fellow players at the table, you're going to be gathering your dice. You start with the 4 blue basic dice. as your base dice to roll. Now these dice also have icons on them that may allow you to activate abilities in your tableau from perhaps your lover or nemesis, things like that. But you also have cards in your tableau that are going to allow you to add additional white dice. So you're going to be assembling all these dice and doing those rolls, and whoever has the highest roll in a battle is going to win that battle. Now, if there's ties, the attacker is going to win in those ties. But you really have some choices to be made as you balance out which dice to roll based on your abilities and different crew you might have, if you have cannons in your ship, what abilities you've upgraded with your lover, things like that can really add a lot. But look out for your nemesis as well, because they can add detriments to your dice rolls also. And so to the victor goes the spoils. If you're attacking one of your fellow players and you win, you're going to basically take half their gold, potentially steal an item of theirs, and give them a wound. Now NPCs are a little different. They have basically indications of their cards of what you can get in the way of gold, and if they're holding any gold on the board as well. Things like that. So you definitely benefit from winning those battles for sure. Now, after all the players have gone, now it's time for the NPCs to go. You're going to be drawing cards to see what NPCs spawn. And you'll be placing them in their appropriate spot based on the card that's drawn, and depending on their level, you know, their level in the game at that point will determine how strong they are when you go up against them in battle, really. So those are things to keep in mind, but you have the ability to move things around on the board. You, as the player that controls the NPCs, can really position things however you want, following the particular rules. Again, the undead are going to try to gather together so they can bring their boss out. And the merfolk are going to move to the corners, trying to get relics so they can go back to Tortuga and bring their boss out. In the midst of all that, you can be moving the armada, these Spanish galleons, around, so they can actually benefit you to maybe stop some of this NPC movement from bringing those boss level creatures out, because they do wreak havoc on the world. And so the game comes to an end once you reach those 10 notoriety points. And again, you're doing that in multiple ways. You're following those story arcs and just completing those particular missions through there. You're going to be bearing gold at locations at your hideouts, right? You can get relics, and you can take over port towns. So there's really lots of ways to get all those points in the game, and whoever has the most, it will be the most famous pirate of all. All right, folks, just a reminder once again, this has been a Dice Tower paid preview. Everything you've seen here has been in prototype form. So keep a close eye on the campaign for any changes that still may occur. Now, this is a giant, really a large story-driven game, and very sandbox style. I mean, you can do whatever you want, really. But following the different story paths and seeing how all the lovers and nemesis interact and the different choices you have to make in these paths and these adventures is really something intriguing. Now, the story has something like 700 pages worth of story driven or built into this app. And it intrigues me every time we play. There's a lot of richness and theme. The game is just dripping with theme. I mean, really. And the way you use your crew, and you can make your crew walk the plank and things like that. So it really adds a lot to the game. And then you have the NPCs, which I find very fascinating because it turns the game into a bit of a semi-cooperative, because you have to all collectively pay attention to what the NPCs are doing, because you don't want them to win the game and you need to stop them at every turn. So you're always balancing what you're doing with your captain and his crew versus what the NPCs are trying to accomplish. But ultimately, folks, if this looks like something that would be of interest to you, I'm sure they'd appreciate your support. So I think that's it for me, and until next time, we'll see you at the table.
Thanks so much for watching another Dice Tower video. If you enjoy our videos, subscribe to the channel for more fun, comprehensive board game coverage. Also, consider joining us at one of our events. Come to Dice Tower Retreat, a small, intimate gathering where gaming is king. Join us for Dice Tower Cruise, the largest board game cruise. Attend Dice Tower West in Las Vegas for gaming fun on the West Coast, or Dice Tower East in Orlando in sunny Florida. Dice Tower Conventions, the friendliest gaming conventions on Earth. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.